All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, personally, some bad news as it appears that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has let Leonard Ellerby go from his promotional company, Mayweather Promotions, and made a surprise hire in Richard Schaefer. Gervonta Davis responds to it. Other people in the boxing world respond to it. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Gervonta Davis's former promoter, Floyd Mayweather Jr., who made a big change in his organization and did it in one of the more tacky ways that I have seen, by announcing that Leonard Ellerby has agreed to step down as the CEO of Mayweather Promotions. Only problem, Floyd, that's not how you do that. So he winds up, in the words of Gervonta Davis, looking extremely petty and makes a hire that, in my book, I don't see how it's going to actually improve the performance of his company. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really means a big deal to the channel. But let's get into this, because this ain't gonna help Floyd. I'm gonna tell you right now, in my experience with business, and I said this on Twitter, when I went on a weight loss journey trying to get rid of, exercise and get rid of body fat, this lady who was really cut one time told me, yeah, all that exercise ain't gonna do you any good as far as showing your abs and all of that, because you can't out exercise a bad diet. If you keep putting bad things into your body, you're eating way more calories than you're burning through your exercise. You're just gonna gain weight, and it's just not gonna do you any good, right? Eventually, years later, I came to my senses. It was like, yeah, you're right. That is not gonna work. Can't have my cake and eat it too. So stop eating the cake, improve the diet, keep exercising, and weight started coming off. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is coming off looking like the king of petty in the way that he let go of Leonard Ellerby by making the announcement himself, instead of having Leonard Ellerby make the announcement. If Leonard Ellerby was stepping down, Leonard Ellerby should have been the one to release a statement on Instagram, on Twitter, and said, hey, I just want to let everybody know that I am stepping down as the CEO of Mayweather Promotions. And, it's been a really great run between me and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now I'm going off and I'm going to do this role or whatever he was going to do, right? That's the way you handle that. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. makes the announcement himself, obviously bitter and petty about what's going on with Gervonta Davis. But let's just assume that he made this change because he felt like it was going to improve the company and improve the performance of Mayweather Promotion, who has one fighter and who has a bunch of other fighters talking about, man, let me out of this contract. Let me get away from Mayweather Promotions. So he's going to bring in Richard Schaefer, and Richard Schaefer is going to solve the problem. Once again, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet, and Richard Schaefer is not going to be able to out-exercise a bad boss. If Floyd Mayweather Jr. himself does not get invested in Mayweather Promotions, if he is not going to be signing fighters and actively pushing to get fighters on cards, actively arranging fight cards, investing his money in it, his promotional company is not going to make any improvements, no matter who he brings on. If he's going to either if he's going to micromanage and be absent and an absentee landlord at the same time, disinterested sometimes, overly interested other times, if that is what led to his promotional company not really doing very much, and the reason that I say that is you would see him do things like announce his fights, his own personal fights, the same week as Gervonta Davis was announcing fights that he had under Mayweather Promotions, right? So, man, I just don't know what this is going to do for what that move is going to do for Mayweather Promotions. Now, I do know, and I've known people that have worked with Richard Schaefer before, and they really like Richard Schaefer and thought that Richard Schaefer was a good guy. Obviously has a strong financial background, right? Has been in the business a long time. He used to be the CEO for Golden Boy Promotions when Golden Boy Promotions was doing really well. But here's the thing. He could only do so well with Golden Boy Promotions because he had a bad boss in Oscar De La Hoya. So Oscar De La Hoya was asleep at the wheel, not really doing much, and winds up being the case that a lot of fighters, when the PBC stops doing business, when Mayweather Promotions stops doing business with Golden Boy and and a whole bunch of fighters migrate to PBC with Al Heyman, that's because Oscar De La Hoya was asleep at the wheel. Then, of course, you also have a very, very harsh statement from Gervonta Davis that said, look, man, any of you guys that signed with this I think he called Floyd Mayweather a fraud. So any of you guys that signed with that fraud, you're crazy because he's going to ruin your career. You have a whole bunch of ex-fighters that were there. Richardson Hitchens, I think it's Jahan. Please forgive me for the name of Jahan's name, right? Guys that used to be there. Mickey Bay a long time ago was with Mayweather Promotions, and there was all kind of drama around Mickey Bay's time with Mayweather Promotions. Of course, you had Badu Jack eventually leave Mayweather Promotions. I do believe Lonnie, I can't remember Lonnie's last name. Lonnie was won big fights, but after he won big fights, he didn't get any more fights. This is obviously a lot to do with just not Floyd Mayweather Jr. just not prioritizing those fighters. Now, I can't speak for what Leonard Ellerby did or didn't do, but I know that Leonard Ellerby, the biggest name fighter that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has had, likes Leonard Ellerby and respects Leonard Ellerby enough to have Leonard Ellerby working on his fight promotions without Floyd there. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with him cutting the cord on him. But again, you're not going to be able to outwork a bad boss if Floyd Mayweather Jr. himself doesn't do somewhat like what Oscar De La Hoya has done in Golden Boy and become much more involved and much more, a lot less egotistical and making it about him. The problems are going to still stay the same. And I'm not somebody that really talked a lot about Mayweather Promotions and what Mayweather Promotions was doing and not doing. A lot of that was out of respect to Leonard Ellerby, who I think is somebody that really does understand the business and somebody that's out there putting in the work. But if you don't respect the manager that's you're working with you, or allow this guy to really have and make any type of decisions, how much can you really do, right? And I think that is probably, just from the outside looking in, probably the case. So we'll see what happens. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.